Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. Welcome to today's episode of You Are Being Surveilled by AI Cameras Everywhere You Go, and you're paying for it. I'm your host, Louis Rossman. Today we're going to be discussing flock cameras. I'm not going to call them license plate readers because I don't accept the premise of assholes, nor do I use their vocabulary when they are disingenuous and trying to convince me that I should pay them money to be able to be watched everywhere that I go. I got access to an email that I don't think was supposed to go to the person that it was sent to, and it was making arguments for why there should be AI-powered surveillance cameras that are installed all over the city that we pay for that are, and just no. I'm going to dig into this. I'm going to go through what these cameras are, what they're capable of, and why you should want them the fuck out of your city. This argument going back and forth is in Iowa, but I've heard the exact same shit said for these cameras getting installed virtually everywhere. It's the same line of argumentation, and I want you to tell me if you feel like it hits a nerve. Our police chief needs our support to allow license plate readers. The left ACLU claims it is an invasion of privacy. They had a group at the last council meeting against this in a petition. I have a petition to be signed. I will be at the next council meeting. This is a great way to keep bad guys out of our town. I appreciate any help from your friends can provide by speaking at our next council meeting in favor and in support of these. There have been anti-camera protesters who have appeared at past council meetings, and the council needs to hear pro-camera citizens to come into our next council meeting to speak in support of these cameras. Here are some bullet points. These cameras are not facial recognition cameras, and they only look at license plates and vehicle features. The data captured by these cameras is not used for immigration enforcement efforts, only for stolen vehicles or vehicles associated with persons with outstanding warrants. No law-abiding citizen needs to have any concerns. The protesters claim that these cameras are an invasion of privacy. The fact is they are already being tracked by facial recognition cameras every time they go to a store or get money from an ATM or get gas. Everyone can already be tracked with their cell phone, by their computers and internet activities, by technology in an automobile. Protesters are not using common sense and are trying to flame fear over facts/logic. Again, these cameras provide extra eyes to help law enforcement fight crime, find lawbreakers, and help keep our community safer. These cameras provide extra law enforcement without the cost of additional police officers. And if you're not breaking any laws, you have nothing to be concerned about, and you should be thankful. Thank you for your help. This is the most disingenuous pile of shit I've ever seen. It is fairly late. It's about 1:30 in the morning, so I'm going to be reading the reply that I have set up that I would like to be able to read if I'm asked to speak at the next city council meeting. What is this thing? This is an AI surveillance camera. That's what this is. AI-powered surveillance cameras that you're paying for. Why do I call it an AI-powered surveillance camera instead of a license plate reader like everybody else? Good question. When you take a look at their own marketing materials on their website from flocksafety.com, it says, and I quote, "No plate, no problem. Capture more detail with vehicle fingerprint and flock-free form. Turn images into actionable evidence, no plate required." What are these capable of reading? The system catalogs vehicles based on numerous distinguishing features, including make, model, color, bumper stickers, dents, damage pattern, roof racks, aftermarket modifications such as wheels or spoilers, window stickers, and even mismatching paint colors. Flock claims this capability is, and I quote, "unique among ALPR systems and allows law enforcement to search for vehicles based on these characteristics even without a visible plate." So, if I can search for a car based on a fingerprint that's been created from it, based on its scratches, based on its bumper stickers and everything else, that is not a license plate reader. That is an AI-powered surveillance camera. When I was showing you how Image works, it's a really cool program you can install on your phone. I can use this with a piece of shit Celeron that's downstairs. I can search for sports car, and it will show me everywhere that there is a sports car. I can go cat in chair, and it will show me every time there's been a cat in a chair. I can search for angry cat, and it'll show me this. And if I search for happy cat, well, it's kind of hard to tell. The difference between something being able to read a license plate or a face or the picture of a beautiful kitty is the type of prompts that you use and the model that is loaded. And if I want to change the model that Image is using, it's as simple as 3 clicks. And it's likely as simple as that for this. It's not a license plate reader. It's an AI surveillance camera. And if we're going to have an honest conversation, we have to call them what they are. I do not accept the premise of assholes, nor do I allow them to dictate the vocabulary that I will use when describing what it is we're arguing about. If it works when there's no license plate installed in the car, it is not a fucking license plate reader. It is an AI-powered surveillance camera. That's what that is. I'm going to read for you from some of the notes that I have created for myself if I have a chance to speak at the next city council hearing. Number 1. These cameras are not facial recognition and only look at license plates. The difference between an AI facial recognition camera and an AI license plate camera is 1 click. Facebook was for connecting with college friends, and now profits off algorithms targeting teenagers who hate their self-image. Ring was a doorbell that now gives police footage without a warrant. Calling this a license plate camera is highly disingenuous. Flock creates vehicle fingerprints tracking your car's bumper stickers, dents, and modifications to the point that it can recognize your car even if it does not have the license plate. They don't need to see your face when they can identify you by the unique pattern of scratches and lopsided placement of your bumper sticker. It's like saying, "I'm not recording your voice, I'm just following you around and writing down everything you say." because that makes it so much better. Next, the data is not used for immigration enforcement. There are over 4,000 immigration searches in Flock's database. A DEA agent was caught using an Illinois cop's password to run immigration searches. Saying the data isn't used for immigration enforcement is like saying your browser history isn't used for targeted ads. It's technically against the rules, but it happens every day. The difference is when Facebook violates their terms, you see weird ads. When Flock violates theirs, families get separated and people get held at gunpoint who are not guilty of anything. Which brings me to my next point here. No law-abiding person needs to have any concerns. Yeah. Tell Jacqueline Gonzalez about that. Jacqueline Gonzalez was a 21-year-old that was held at gunpoint with her 12-year-old sister because Flock's AI read a 2 as a 7. Tell that to the woman in Kansas whose ex-husband cop tracked her over 200 times. In October 2022, Kansas Police Lieutenant Victor Jair was arrested and later pleaded guilty to computer crimes and stalking after using Flock cameras 228 times over 4 months to track his estranged wife's movements. In a separate Kansas incident, Sedgwick Police Chief Lee Nygaard accessed Flock data 164 times to track his ex-girlfriend before resigning and admitting to the misuse. In Espanola, New Mexico, 21-year-old Jacqueline Gonzalez and her 12-year-old sister were held at gunpoint and handcuffed after Flock's system mistook a 2 for a 7 on their license plate, falsely flagging their vehicle as stolen. And let's go back to the whole bullshit on the left versus right thing, where the left ACLU is against this in the beginning of that person's email. Let's say you're a conservative. Let's say you're a conservative in 2020 who lives in California, and you want to go outside. Do you want Gavin Newsom having access to an AI-powered surveillance system? If you're a conservative in Michigan and Gretchen Whitmer tells you can go to aisle 9 at Walmart but not aisle 10, do you want her having access to some shit that will send a fucking alert to her phone and the police because you decided to go to the wrong aisle of Walmart that day? This is not a left or a right. This is up or down. This is, do you want to live in Black Mirror or do you want this shit to be canceled? I love this. This is one of my favorite shows on earth, but I want that shit to be canceled in real life because I'm sick and tired of moving towards that reality and having people look at me like I'm crazy when I point it out. You're already being tracked by stores, ATMs, and phones. Okay, this is so fucking disingenuous. Let's go over the stores and the ATMs one. Firstly, let's say that a store has a camera system and they can see when you walk by. Almost every store has a security camera system. This is different than having a centralized system where hundreds upon hundreds of cameras that are AI powered are all accessible with just a login and a user ID. As a cop, if I want to get access to Louis Rossman's cameras, I got to go to his store because I don't have a login and a user ID to that. Louis records his cameras to an NVR and hard drives that are on his premises. I have to have a warrant, and if I don't have a warrant, I have to have a pretty good fucking reason. If a cop walks in, he can't just say, I want to stalk people, and I want to see where everybody was that had this particular type of bumper sticker at this point in time, so I can compare it to 80 other stores' cameras and put them all together so that I could track where somebody went. They can't do that. They have to show up to my store, and if they don't have a warrant, they have to say, hey, you know that noise that you heard around like 8 a.m. on Monday, right before a bunch of red stuff splattered on your window? Yeah, I was kind of wondering what that was. Yeah, somebody got stabbed to death. Oh my, that's horrible. And then I can give them my camera footage, right? There has to be a conversation back and forth. And then that has to be replicated 10 or 20 or 50 times in order for him to have access to the same amount of camera footage. It's literally just enter your login and user ID. You have access to 50 or 100 cameras. All those 50 or 100 cameras are then put into some AI thing so that you can find the exact piece of footage you're looking for at the click of a button. I want to follow Louis's girlfriend everywhere she went for the last 10 days. I want to know every single meeting that Louis went to and how long it lasted. You can't do that using the ATM camera. You can't do that using the HEB camera. You can't do that with the fucking $400 eBay CCTV setup that grocery stores put together or the camera on an ATM because they're all siloed in individual locations. They all connect to different systems. And above all, they don't give the police access by default. As a result of that, there is friction. And that friction is the difference between the Fourth Amendment and living in this fucking dystopia that you could see in this Frontline documentary on China from 2020. There is a difference between my store camera system, the ATM camera system at a 7-Eleven, and an AI-powered surveillance system that the police have access to all from one database. The fact that I even have to explain that having access to hundreds of AI-powered cameras all within one database where I can type in a basic prompt and have it show me every ways that this person went versus 80 separate CCTV systems that are old, outdated shit with no AI. Like, do I even have to explain this? Now with phones, a police officer that wants to stalk their ex can use Flock to do that. They cannot use their Google account to do that. I have a Pixel phone. If I had Lineage OS installed on my phone, I have no Google stuff on my phone. But let's say I did have Google stuff installed on my phone. Can the police just log into their Gmail account and know every place I went for the last 30 days? There's a little bit of friction there. They have to go to Google with a fucking reason and a warrant. And even if it's not a warrant, and it's something other than, here is my login, let me see everywhere this person went. Further, I can opt out of having Google on my phone. I can opt out of having location on. I could install Lineage OS. I could run the battery out in my phone. I can keep my phone at home. I can't choose to not take main roads and thoroughfares and highways throughout the city to conduct business, to go to work, to go to the hospital, to see my friends. You've made tracking mandatory, unavoidable, and accessible at the click of a button. It's the difference between choosing to share your location with Google and having the government mandate I wear a collar. Protesters are not using common sense and are trying to flame fear. You're suggesting that the world is so dangerous that we have to spend millions of dollars of our own money to have AI follow us around everywhere that we go and report back to you. No, my friend, I'm not the one flaming fear. You are. If you're that fucking afraid of going outside, how about you have a camera follow you everywhere you go or stay the fuck indoors? Let's talk about common sense. Austin spent about $1.2 million in these cameras. They scanned over 100 million license plates. They got about 165 arrests. I went to a New York City public school. My math ain't that good. That's about $7,000 per arrest. You know what else you can buy for that amount of money? About 100 hours of police time. Who do you think solves more crimes? A trained veteran police officer or an AI playing Where's Waldo? The numbers are right there. And they're horrible. I grew up in the 90s. I was born in the 80s. My parents used to take me around all the parks in New York City when I was a kid. Even during New York City's crack epidemic, I was there for that. And it was not bad enough to justify an AI surveillance system being installed that's watching us all the time, that can profile you and follow you around and just know. Even that. And while Austin is not a perfect city by any stretch of the imagination, I've walked around the parks here. It's not that bad. These cameras provide extra eyes to help law enforcement. They provide extra eyes to anybody with access. The Sedgwick police chief, the Kansas police lieutenant who is stalking his ex-wife, these are not helping law enforcement or fighting crime. These aren't extra eyes for law enforcement. This is a sick fuck's wet dream. These cameras provide law enforcement without the cost of additional officers. So they're arguing that this is fiscally responsible. Nothing says fiscally responsible like paying $2,500 per camera per year for a 0.00001% success rate. Paying a private company to build a surveillance network that has this much potential for abuse with these bad results is fiscally irresponsible. If you're not breaking the laws, you have nothing to be concerned about. Show me your phone. If you're not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to hide, right? Show me your phone and your laptop. Unlock it right now. Bring it here. You want to install a camera in your bathroom? In your bedroom? Can I watch you fuck your wife? You're not doing anything wrong, are you? I can't stand this because everybody who says this, if you're a privacy-oriented person, well, why? You don't have anything to hide, do you? Every single time somebody says this and I say, let me see your phone, for 37 years, I have not had a single person show me their phone, show me their computer, give me their password. Funny how that works. There's this line in The Honeymooners. There was this one episode where he goes, "This heads I win, tails you lose." I have Image installed on my phone, and it's a really cool program where you can install your own open source AI models. You can have them on your computer. It doesn't have to connect to the internet, and it can classify your photos. It's really awesome. I could type cat on chair, and it finds cat on chair. If I type in borderline personality disorder, a friend of mine that has borderline personality disorder actually shows up. If I type in cancer patient, it will show me a picture of a friend of mine 3 months before he even knew that he had cancer. It's insanely good. When AI is good, this is a bad fucking idea. I do not want something that is so good that it can track me everywhere that I go. I do not want something that could find anybody who has a particular mental disorder, particular political viewpoint, health condition, and just be able to follow them with no accountability. Tails. When AI is bad, you have innocent people being held at gunpoint because it can't tell the difference between a 2 and a 7. Heads. AI works. The police chief can stalk his ex-girlfriend. Tails. It doesn't work. Innocent people get held at gunpoint. Whether you think AI is good or AI is bad, I don't care. It doesn't work here. This is not a left versus right issue. This is an up versus down issue. Do you want to live in a dystopia or do you want to live in a normal society? When you look at these documentaries, like the one that I'm going to link you to down below, this Frontline documentary on China and how they use AI, when you look into the way that these types of surveillance systems work, these things did not start overnight by saying we want to just watch you everywhere you go and be able to shame you if you've done something we don't like. That's not how this works. It starts by saying it's just a license plate reader. If you're not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about, in spite of the fact that the thing reads everything other than the fucking license plate to be able to build a fingerprint on you, and they advertise it on their own website. This has so much potential for abuse. Not just potential, but it's been proven to be used for abuse. This is not the same as businesses having their own internal security cameras that they show to police upon request. This is the police and whoever the fuck else they give that password to being able to see every single camera and then use AI to contextualize it and say, where did this person go during this time period? Did this person go anywhere that is a place that I would not like them to go based on my personal preferences. That's fucking weird. The shit that people could do with this, no thank you. I am not some bleeding heart person that sims for the criminal. Yes, New York City bodega owner arrested for self-defense, cleared on all charges, good. When there's a person breaking all the cars on our block, we ran out of the store and we got them ourselves.
Right there.
Like,
He's right there with the
this
stick.
is,
This guy with the stick.
yes.
He smashed a few cars on the...
And it's fun. Fucking piece of shit camera battery died. Point being, I don't want this to turn into some right versus left shit or some like, oh, you're soft on crime. I'm not soft on crime at all. Like, if somebody breaks into my house, I'm not one of those, why did you shoot him in the knee? Like, he sleeps with my fish. I have no sympathy for people that go out of their way to make the world a shittier place. At the same time, I also believe that the people who want us to live in an AI-powered surveillance world all the time just that they can feel a little bit safer are the people who are the real fearmongers, not me. I'm okay going outside even when there's not a camera following me around, and I think that you should be too. When you read about how this has been implemented in many other areas, it's one camera here and two cameras there, and before you know it, they have hundreds of cameras all over their fucking city that can be used to stalk people and track them. I want you to imagine that your worst enemy is the person who has the ability to log into this. Whether you're a liberal afraid how this is going to be used for immigration enforcement and abortion, or a conservative that wants to know what would happen if there's a repeat of 2020. This is a bad idea. You don't want this shit in your city. You have to start saying no. And I want to say no at the very beginning. I don't want to wait till there's hundreds of these things all over the city. I want to say no right now. Let them know you don't want this shit in your city. You're a taxpayer and your vote counts as much as the fucking Karen that wants an AI camera following them everywhere they go. The Karens win because they show up. Let's show up instead. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. See you in the next video. Bye now.